So a quick setup for this one. Basically, this is a post-apocalyptic world. All we can suss out is there was some kind of infectious disease that seemed to have killed most of the population of the planet. We have this family, just a mother, a father, and their son, about 17, 18-year-old son. The first thing that we see is them like killing the grandfather. He looks diseased. They put him in a wheelbarrow. They take him out. They shoot him in the head, and they burn his body. And basically, there's this other guy one night that breaks into their house, and he's just claiming like, oh, I've got my wife and son. I didn't know this place was occupied. We're just looking for water. We're about 15 miles away. It's all about paranoia, people not being able to trust each other, and just really subtle things like, is this guy telling us the truth? Does he have another agenda? What do you think of the way they set things up?
I loved it, man. I think it kind of hits you a lot of different ways within the first couple minutes, whether it's like the grandfather scene or, even with that's fucked up on its own, but it's like even with him breaking into the house, it's like you can see both sides. Like it's like even when they kind of work things out, he goes to pick up his family, there's still like this air of paranoia, or
Yeah,
mistrust. And it's like maybe they're not on the up and up. Maybe they still got to camp out there somewhere with other people. This is all things that I was thinking, like,
right.
or I think the film conveys upon my first viewing. This movie is just very, very thick with atmosphere, bro. I think it establishes that from the jump with the grandfather, and it never lets up until the very last scene.
Hell yeah, man. I think the combination of the dialogue and I mean all the performances are great, but Chris Abbott, the guy that had broke into the house, the new guy entering, the subtle ways where you as the viewer, you are questioning whether or not he's being honest. And it's like, oh, I think he might be lying, but it's like at the same time, maybe he's not. Like he seems, it's just really, really well delivered, not just with the way he's delivering the lines, but the lines that he's given and the lines that he's responding to. It's just like there's something so subtle about his performance that I love.
Yeah, no, it's like because it's like knowing what we know now. It's like he was just being up in front. Like I just want to take care of my family. I
Right.
don't care about the bullshit. I'm not trying to fool you. But upon a first viewing, it's very questionable. Like he sounds sly. Like this sounds like there's a slyness behind
Right.
his words almost. When he's saying, "I just want to take care of my family. I didn't know anybody was here." You really don't believe him. You're like, get the
Right.
fuck out of here, bro. You
Right.
knew, you knew. What makes you trust him even less is when those guys try to jump him and take out the car, and you're just like, oh shit, did he try to set him up? Like, so this film just, from the jump, it really up until you get his family, and even after that, you're kind of like, I don't
Right.
know, bro. Maybe there's a camp out there.
I love how it's so subtle. Like they get attacked. You're right. They're on the road. They get attacked. The main character, the dad from the house, he kills these people that attacked him. And the way that Chris Abbott reacts, like, oh no. And it's like, oh shit, why? Did you know these people? He's like, no, we could have got information. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, all right. But it's always so suspicious. And even the way, like when he asks him, he doesn't say, we could have got information. He says, we could have got information. Like he stumbles for a second. It's just
Yeah.
everything is very deliberate. Like
It makes
every
you
sentence.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, dude.
No,
Okay.
yeah, that's
I took a picture of it. Did you see? I don't know if it was supposed to be something. I feel like there's supposed to be this like thing. Okay, when they're in the truck and they're driving along the road, and the camera at one point it starts like whipping over and looking off to the left. The camera is just like acting weird, right? At one point, when it looks off to the left, it looks like there's this like weird monster fucking figure. Did you ever notice it? There's something like sitting there almost doing like this pose. You see it from the back, and it looks like this giant, it almost looks like Groot. It looks like there's a giant Groot that's sitting like 30 yards off into the woods. And it's even in the preview. When I saw the preview, I'm like, oh, they showed it in that too. It never comes of anything. And I don't know if it's complete, but you never noticed it.
I know because I've watched this movie many times since I first seen it, bro, and it's like there was something mysterious about this movie when I first saw it, and like I even thought like there was like some sort of I thought this was gonna be like a creature film almost,
Right,
it
right.
comes at night, like what comes at
It
night, like
it does, yeah.
yeah, the monster, but
Here, let me see if I can show you.
but
Let me see if I can blow myself up if I know how to do that. Like I took a couple pictures of it, and it's gonna look like shit. But basically, this is not gonna go well. I'll just tell you right now. All right, where the fuck am
I
I?
see
See that right there?
it right there, yeah,
Right there. And if you
yeah.
oh, that's my aunt. See that?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah,
It's like it's just something fishy, but
bro.
I think it's purposefully put there because it's such an unnatural thing. It's not, it can't be a tree. But I think it doesn't come of anything. I think it's just something to put there to get people thinking like, oh, what the hell was that? There's something about the way that the camera's moving around that invites the viewer at that point. Well, I'm still blowing
To
up.
look in that.
To look, yeah, to be like searching around a little bit. You know what I mean? I just thought it was I was curious if you picked it up. I need to Google it and see if there's other people out there in the world being like, what the hell is that?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it was some, I don't know, some sort of creature, just because it's like in this film, I don't know. I felt like the sickness was, maybe they became like zombies or some sort of shit after that.
Right.
But you know, once their body like,
Because why not go out at night? You're right. Yeah, I never really even
right,
thought of it like
right,
that. They're like, we never go outside at night. It's like, why? You gonna get sick at night? You get sick during the day, just the
right.
same.
Yeah, sunlight evaporates all the germs. But
Yeah, maybe it's like
uh,
certain people, they don't die, they turn into Groot. They go out there and start wrecking shop when they get it.
this this one had a very like mystery box quality to it, man. It's like it still kind of leaves you with more questions than you get answers by the
Totally.
very end. And it's almost like it's a drama,
Mm-hmm.
that thriller that takes place in a horror monster world. You know, we
Right.
don't see any of the fucking monsters or anything like that. We see like the paranoia and emotional fucking trauma that can happen in situations like these with characters. And
The main
man,
horror that we get comes from the nightmares from Travis's character, the son. That's the only time we really
yes.
get like scary images. If you took all those out, it would be really hard pressed to call this a horror movie.
Yeah, yeah. Those are definitely the most visually striking
Right.
images of the movie. Let me ask you a question about those,
Mm-hmm.
man. Do you think that was I've always thought that was like the sickness in Travis
Right.
sleeping into his subconscious, but we don't know how quickly the virus works, and it's like he'd been dreaming the whole movie though. So
That's what I was thinking
what do you
too,
think?
because
Which
at one point they kind of try to give it a timeline where they're like, okay, grandpa got sick, and then a day later or whatever. They try to pin it down, and that's why they're like, okay, we've caught that new guy, leave him outside overnight, and then we'll check him in the morning. If he's good, then we know he's good. Because they think it's like a 24-hour, they'll know if you've got the
COVID?
disease. But I question that same thing too. Why is Travis having these dreams that he's got the disease? And then, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, he does have the disease, but there's all these different ways he could have got it. Did he get it from the dog? Did he get it from the kid? We assume that the kid opened the door, touched the dog, he touched Travis, and that's how Travis got sick. But there's all this, we didn't see what happened, so it's all left to interpretation.
See, I always interpret it as Travis was the sleepwalking, bro. I think his dreams, the dreams gotta signify
Right,
something,
right,
like, and he was always getting up throughout the night in the movie. He was the only character who kind of got up throughout the night,
right.
which to me, like if he was sleepwalking, like maybe it was like after he got done sleepwalking, there was an after effect, like he felt it subconsciously in his body. He'll wake up, not realizing he had already been up doing shit around. I don't know, because I always thought like with the dog, for instance, I thought that I don't think the dog, just came back and busted down the dog couldn't have busted down that door.
Yeah, right. Okay, the dog is inside when they find him. Oh, but the door was
Yes.
unlocked.
I think it was Travis. He had
Right.
slept to sleep. He was sleepwalking, and when I don't know.
They even say the
Travis
kid can
sleepwalking, right?
barely reach the door. Like he can barely reach it, but he can
Yeah.
reach it, but he can barely reach it. Yeah, they do
Barely,
leave it. There
barely.
was even a minute where, you know what I wish they wouldn't. I started to question like halfway through the movie. I'm like, is the dad even, is the wife and son, are they prisoners? And this is some guy that's came in and take over this family. But they do at one point show a picture of them from before. So that wasn't a part of it, I assume, unless there was a photoshopped picture.
No, that's a good point, because I was like throughout the, I think because the first time I seen this movie, I was questioning like, is that really his son?
Sorry,
Oh,
I
of
had it. I
course
had
we
it so
would
I
see it,
couldn't see the
Inja.
comments for a little bit. Inja saw it. Thank you, Inja. Thank you. It just makes me feel better.
But I know, because he doesn't in many scenes throughout this movie, like when everyone else is kind of like showing emotion, Joel Edgerton is very
Mm-hmm.
Dead. Yeah, the only time he cries throughout this movie is when his son Travis, you know, and that's when
Right.
he's just finally breaks down. But upon my first watch, I was kind of questioning. I was like, "Is that really his dad? Is he really the dad of this family?"
Right.
Because there just seemed to be like an emotional disconnect.
Well, that's part of it.
And
Is
so,
there's
yeah,
something that leads me to that is just the fact that it's a mixed family, right? We've our biracial family, white dad, light skinned black mom, and a darker skinned black
mhm.
son. So I'm like, you know what I mean? So that probably is the thing that led me to like, I wonder like if that's going to be the twist where you find out at the end that he's so paranoid because he already did this. He already came and took over a family. But yeah, I mean, clearly it wasn't that though. I thought to go back to the opening act, I like who do you think the main character of this movie is? Like to you, who's the perspective character?
Travis.
Yeah, right.
I
And
think Travis is our focal point. Yeah.
he doesn't speak like this fucking movie's so good in the way like there's the subtlety of this movie, the way that they set it up. He almost doesn't say anything for the first half hour, but they're also really focusing on how observant he is. So like you are
Yeah.
paying
Yep.
attention to what because of how close you see him paying attention. They're sitting at the dinner table and just like he's looking around, not looking like he doesn't trust people or he doesn't trust what they're talking about or whatever. But like his facial expressions like sell so much of this movie. You're so locked into him. And then when it does start to lean into him and he becomes the main character, you're like, oh shit, well, I've been with this guy the whole time. And I didn't even, you know what I mean? You didn't even
Yeah.
realize like that has been your guy the whole time, but they didn't like make it clear until halfway through the movie or more.
I I didn't think that. That's a cool thing. Yeah, a good observation. Because I was gonna say, like, he really is just kind of he's an audience member essentially throughout the
Right.
first couple minutes of the movie because he's just watching things just as we are. We don't really hear. It's more of a Joe Egerton getting a lot of the lines and the
Yep.
mom and yo, yeah. So when it does transition to him, it almost feels like you said. It's like, oh, we've been with him the whole time, so it makes sense. Damn, I didn't peep that. I like that though. I like that.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, it's really well written. That's why it's one of these things like this is a short week, it's daylight savings time, this is an early show. There's so much I wanted to do before I started doing this. I want to know what else this guy has done, the director and the writer. Just like, I mean, I would love to see more of
I
this
thought,
dude's work. I wanted to ask you about some of the stuff in the second act. We've
okay.
got the two families together now, right? They've decided, all right, we're going to live together. Everything seems to be cool. They're kind of meshing. And there's two scenes in particular. One where the dad is seeing his son chopping wood with the new guy. And there's like this bit of like, ooh, is this guy going to come and take my place and like be the father figure for my son? Like little scene. And then a little bit later, there's a scene with the son. He's wandering around at night and he realizes how fucking, I think he realized at the same time as I did how hot this other wife is, the other woman that got brought into his home. It's like, dude, she's not only hot, she's pretty young too. She, you know what I mean? Like she looks really good. So they set up this thing like, oh shit. You start thinking two dads are gonna be beefing over the son and all this stuff going on between that set up. The dude, he's gonna be trying to fuck this guy's wife and everything, and then they don't do anything with it. I don't know how to feel about that. It's like it's a misdirect. It doesn't go there, but I feel like was there any point to you of setting those two ideas in our head?
It's funny you say that, but not necessarily those two ideas, but
Mm-hmm.
with the Joel Edgerton stuff and him seeing, I felt like even early on in the film, like when after he shoots the grandfather, he kind of turns around and pauses. Like I feel like maybe I'm reading too much into it, but he's like he realizes he's lost his son, and like even though that's what he had to do, his son's gonna have hold something towards him in a way because you're the
Mm-hmm.
one who killed grandpa, like you did it, when people when something traumatic happens, people can want like a sense of something to blame,
Someone to
something to point
blame,
the finger
dude.
at. Even
Yeah.
yeah, we need a source, and I felt like Joe Edgerton's character realized that. So when he saw like he already knows like the world's gone to shit. Like I'm sure he wants the best. He just wanted to protect his family, of course. And so if he sees like he knows there's this disconnect between him and his son because like the movie alludes that he was closer to his grandfather. But if he found like this another male for him to bond, I think he was like looking at it. See, I didn't read it as jealousy. I read it as like him looking at like shit. If I can't do it, at least he's getting it the source from
Ah,
something like I felt
interesting. Yeah, I was kind of
with
lutking at like
too.
if you if you strip it down to where there's no one else in the world, it becomes like you can only compare yourself to him. So it would be really
Right.
easy to get really competitive, like as the husband, be like, oh, he's doing that with his wife. That's the only other example on the planet. Oh, now I better go get her some flowers. Look at the time they spend together. Like it would really shine a light on yourself if that's the only thing you could. Luckily, we could be like, okay, he's a better husband than me, but that fucking guy, I'm better than him. Fuck that. I don't have to do anything. I'm good. You know what I mean?
You said you're cool.
It's just saying she thinks Travis deals with anxiety and disconnect. I think he longs for connection with others, hence why he views people from afar. You can see him trying with his facial expressions. Yes, dude. Yes. That's why he's like sitting and like spying on everyone. Like it never comes off as creepy. You just like feel bad for this kid. He doesn't have any TV. He needs something. He needs to connect with people. And it's your parents are your parents, but you can connect with them in a certain way, but you can't connect with them in every way. She continues to say, I think the scene with Travis and Will getting wood together added more tension for Paul. Will was able to connect with Travis and Paul isn't. Yeah, I think
so it could be that, yeah.
Paul just struggles in general to connect with people, even his wife, and even with the new people. He's just, it's his personality type, kind of.
Yeah. No, I wanted to speak on real quick was you and the young wife, Will's wife, and why can I not remember her name? I feel bad.
That's tricky, man.
Wife.
Yeah,
hot wife.
We got 10 different names we're dealing with in this double feature, so forgive us.
I felt like there was like a flirtiness going on between her and Travis when he comes down that one night, and like, I was speaking on it with Inja. She had made a good point that it's because I was like, do you think that she was feeling him at any point? That you personally?
See, here's what I think they did. I think the same technique that they used for Chris Abbott's character, when you're like, it was so subtle. It's like, oh, is he lying? Is he not? It was like, is she? Is she not? They wrote that same line with her, where you're like, oh fuck, what is going on here? Really well written, man.
I like that.
It's got an amazing ending. However you feel about how well it was executed, if you don't feel something from this movie, like the way it ends, it's just like there's this kid dead, and you're just sitting there like it just takes your breath away type of fucking movie. But let me talk about the way it gets set up and maybe some of the issues that I have. Maybe we can figure this out, like how the shit goes down the way it goes down. They start to suspect that the young kid from the new family is sick from that shit that went down. They decide, let's separate. You guys go in your room, we'll go in our room. And a couple days later, they're hearing through the walls. They think this kid is sick. The other family wants to leave. So I guess the biggest question is like Will, he goes in and investigates. So they get in this big fucking heated argument. There's guns being drawn and everything. End of the fucking day, the guy that comes into the situation, he gets fucking shot. He gets killed. The wife, she's trying to run away. He shoots at her and kills the fucking son, kills this like 4-year-old fucking kid. It's totally devastating. Why didn't they, and we'll obviously get into the impact of all that and how you felt about that, but why didn't they just let him go? Like I didn't understand much of the struggle. They just want to leave. They just want what's fair. They brought you goats and chickens and shit. Like give them one of their goats, give them a chicken and some eggs and fuck off. Like, why does it have to be like a thing? I didn't understand the struggle there.
That's why I was kind of like trying to figure out what's the timeline of how long this has been going on, because like, Joel Edgerton had said like, how people, I think he was talking to the wife, he's like, or they were talking in front of Jacob, he's like, you don't know how people get when they get super desperate. Like it kind of to me was alluding to the fact that they've interacted with people before, gave people fear. If people feel what they don't know, and it's like there's too many X factors, too many unknowns by letting them go, bro. Like I said, even as a viewer, I was like, when he got the family, I was like, maybe that family has like a whole camp that's going to come for them, or some sort of way,
Right.
So it's like it's too many unknowns to really like let. I mean personally, I would have kind of taken the chance, and if you come back, you're gonna regret it, type shit,
Right.
But you can't really fault Joel Edgerton's character for in that situation.
I think I love what you're saying, because that does make sense. That he's worked just like what they set up earlier, where maybe he is in cahoots with these people that are 10 miles down the road. They're gonna come take his house over, but they hadn't really set that up earlier, like 45 minutes. I guess I wish they had planted like a little bit more of a seed in my head to make me not trust him that if he does leave, I would really believe, because I don't believe that he would have came back with his buddies and taken their
No,
house
none
over.
at all.
They should have set that up a little bit more clearly to make me. The ending is super impactful, but I hate that I have questions about the motivations of all of that. That's like probably my biggest thing out of the movie, but it might be something that I'm missing.
We never even seen if the little kid was actually sick or not.
No.
Like they never confirmed if he had that sickness. Maybe he just had the flu, and because of how paranoid Joel Edgerton's character was, they didn't want to tell him that because he would have taken no chances, or something like, that's how I kind of read it. But we don't know if the little boy was actually sick. Like he could have just his whole fear was if he thought the little boy was sick, they were all sick, or I don't know. Because at first that's what it seemed like, that was the worry. Then it turned into, if we let them go, they'll go tell, like. So no, yeah, that was really messed up, man. I was, it was, what was messed up about that whole situation is like, because it's like I'm seeing both sides, and I see where they're both coming from. Like, Joel Edgerton, and they're just trying to protect their family. I totally get that. Oh, dude, I just want to get out of here, protect my family. You guys are putting me in a situation where I got to threaten you now because you won't. I'm just trying to get out of here with my family. You guys won't let me do that. So it was just a really tense situation where it's like, when they're arguing over the gun right before Will gets shot, it's like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, fuck Joel Edgerton up, but not too much, all right? But so I was really torn emotionally with that. But bro, that was such a devastating scene when he shoots after she shoots the son, the little boy.
Dude, the way that woman screams, "You killed my baby!" It's like fucking rips right through your soul.
And the little look he gives, he does this disturbed blinking, and then he right before he's fucked up, you can tell he's something that's not sitting right with him, and he just cocks his gun or the rifle and takes her out.
Yeah, she screams, kill me, or you better kill. She says something kill me. This movie does something that I fucking love, is the characters say what I'm thinking multiple times in the movie. They get to you start to question something, and immediately the second that I think it, they explain it away. It's they're, you know what I mean? They're really on top of that. And right there, I'm thinking, oh, just kill her. Just kill her. And she's like, kill me. I'm like, yes, yeah, just fucking end her. If you see your husband die and then you kill my baby in my arms, just fucking end it.
She's got nothing left.
Yeah, take me out. Way too hot to live in this world.
Yeah, that was a fucking scene, but it was he was kind of in a way putting her out of her misery, because it's in this world, bro, it's she just lost her reason for living. I was just really fucked up. I'm not saying she in any way saying she deserved to die,
right?
Because he just did that shit. But it was just, yeah, I don't know. That was tough. That was difficult.
That's why tough. I mean, we talked about a couple weeks ago when me and Ravi talked about this crazy Argento movie. There's things I love when things happen in movies that I hate to see happen. It is really difficult.
Yes.
How often do you watch a movie and it's you really don't feel anything, even with a decent movie? Sometimes you don't really feel anything. And this, man, you fucking feel. There's a gut punch at the end of this movie that is just just leaves you hollow inside. Dude, I wanted to ask you about the eyes. The bit where there's something with the eyes with the disease, I think. When we see the grandpa, his eyes are all blacked out, and then when we see Travis, at least in the diseases, are his eyes all blacked out? In gooey and shit? Because the dad is saying, okay, the first thing when Joel Edgerton, when he rips the bag off of dude's head in the first place, he's looking in his eyes. He's I want to see your eyes. And then the one dad is telling the young kid, he's close your eyes, let's go. And it's he doesn't want him to be able to see if he's sick or not, because you can see it in the eyes. That was kind of the thing that I was picking up from that, why he keeps. Also, he could be telling him, close your eyes, because I'm about to blow this dude's fucking brains out, and I don't want you to see it.
Yeah.
But I think there's a double meaning there. I think there's something in the eyes that you can tell if you're sick or not.
I was going to say this. I think there's two sides of the sickness, but this ties into with the ending. But they're sitting at the table. Obviously, Travis is gone. The mom's got the skin lesions, but it looks like Joel Edgerton's eyes or whatever have the blackness to them. You can't really see, but from a kind of, it looks like that. He's got that blank stare to him. And so I think there was like two signs of the sickness. Maybe one was a little bit more progressed further along.
Right.
Uh,
Fuck, maybe if you got the dark eyes, that's when you become Groot. Maybe maybe only dark eyes people become a monster and go out there, because that's honestly, I'm really glad. Out of this has been a great conversation, but the thing that I'm going to walk away with thinking is like, oh, okay, there is something at night, because that's the thing that I hadn't thought of before we started this conversation. They're still afraid to go outside at night, so maybe that thing that me and Inja both saw, that Groot looking thing, is out there, and something does come at night, and that's what that's what it is. The other answer, what the internet tells me, is I didn't look too far into it. I did a little chat with AI about this movie. Don't tell anybody out there. I chatted with AI about this flick for a minute, and they said that the fucking what comes at night is Travis's dreams. They also said that the red door in the dreams could possibly represent death.